OpenAI announces a leadership transition. What does that even mean? It's been a crazy 24 hours. Sam Altman, CEO and co-founder of OpenAI, is no longer with the company, and no one really seems to know what the reasoning behind this is. The news came as a shock to Sam. He was only told about a half hour before it was announced to the rest of the world. Even the chairman of the board, his co-founder, didn't find out until about 5 minutes before it happened. So how a board is able to do this without the chairman of the board understanding and knowing what's going on and having a say in the voting process is beyond me. Well, what we do know is that this shakes things up massively for OpenAI. OpenAI and ChatGPT have obviously been making waves in the AI space for the past year, and they've been on kind of the cusp of some really great advancements. Just recently with custom GPTs, the announcement that they're working on GPT-5, and as early as this last week, Sam Altman, the CEO and co-founder, was out raising funds for the next round of funding to help progress this even further. Even Microsoft insiders have said to places like Axios that they just found out just a minute before the news was shared with the rest of the world that Sam was being ousted from the company. So really bizarre take here. Now, Sam has put up a few cryptic posts on X. This is one that I thought was kind of funny. If I start going off, the OpenAI board should come after me for the full value of my shares. What makes this funny is that as a nonprofit company, Sam has no shares in the company. He actually doesn't have any ongoing interest in OpenAI, which also kind of sucks because this company was one of the fastest growing companies in history, fastest to over 100 million daily active users, and yet he will see nothing of that going forward. In the few hours that have gone on past that, we've seen at least 4 more senior level people at OpenAI resign or quit. We've got the GPT-4 lead and the director of research, the head of AI risk, open source baseline researcher, and then of course Sam Altman and his co-founder Greg Brockman. Now, I think it goes without saying that based on this information, there's definitely going to be the announcement of a new AI company starting in the next few days with Sam Altman and his team that he's assembling. But I have a few questions surrounding that, and I think they're going to have a harder time than maybe on the surface it seems. Now, they have a track record, so I think going out and raising funds will be pretty much a cakewalk. They've got the backing, they've got the connection. Sam Altman's shown that he can go out and he can raise funds. So I think capital won't be an issue. I do think that they're going to run into issues securing compute. So outside of kind of the big tech companies like Google Cloud, Amazon AWS, Microsoft with Azure, and then of course, I think Tesla would fall into that as well. Since they've been building out their GPU cluster for Grok, I think those are the companies that have enough compute power to build a large language model like something that would compete with OpenAI. No one is able to get their hands on NVIDIA GPUs right now, at least at the scale and volume necessary to train a really competitive large language model. The NVIDIA H200s are coming out in the next quarter and a half, but even then, we're still gonna have these supply constraints for probably the next at least 24 months. So can they get enough compute power to actually train a model based on all that? And then I think the other big problem with this is, can they actually get the data that they need in order to train that model? So it's one thing to have the compute power to actually build the LLM, but it's another thing to get the data. Now you have to think, when OpenAI was started, it was kind of this golden age for the training set, the data that actually goes into that large language model. They were able to scrape Google, they were able to scrape Twitter, Reddit, all these big tech companies that had basically open access to their data. Most of them have walled that off now. You can't get access to X data anymore outside of Grok. You can't get access to Reddit anymore because they've blocked off scrapers from accessing that. And on top of all that, you now have this situation as well where a lot of the data that's being generated on the internet, a lot of the content that's being written and created is actually generated by AI. So you don't have this sort of golden data set that came before AI. Now, can you still build something compelling off of that? Maybe. And if there's any team that can do it, it's probably Sam and his co-founders, but it still remains to be seen. So I think they've got some major hurdles ahead. Nobody knows what the outcome is going to be of this. Does this slow down the progress on projects like GPT-5? Does OpenAI sort of stagnate and not innovate as well as they have in the past year or so? I don't know, but it'll be interesting to watch and find out what happens. So Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and as always, hit that like and subscribe button. We'll see you next time.